Wow. Oh. Okay. What's up, everybody? My name is Elliott, and today we are here with a 2019 Porsche GT3 RS. Now, this is the Porsche GT3 RS. This is Porsche's biggest and baddest track monster. Porsche makes a GT3, which is a very hardcore track car, and then that car is turned up quite a bit with the RS model. So let's take a look around it before we take it out on the road here. Like I said, this is a 2019 GT3 RS. Visual differences between this and the regular GT3. GT3 also has a spoiler. This spoiler is much, much bigger and much more in your face. This one also says Porsche on top. Little touch. As a guy with a car with a big spoiler that says what it is on top, I approve of this style touch. This car is a 4-liter flat 6 with 520 naturally aspirated horsepower with a red line of 9,000 RPMs. To put that in perspective, back in 06, GM was really proud of their 7-liter V8 making 505 horsepower. This makes more horsepower than that in a 6-cylinder, naturally aspirated. It boggles the mind. Anyway, moving along, you've got huge tires. These are, what are these? 325s in the back. It's like double as wide as the Hellcat tires, which is a bad example because those tires aren't very wide. That's massive for a car that weighs 3,100 pounds and has 200 less horsepower. Needless to say, it has a ton of grip, especially with all of this functional aero. It's just amazing. These actually let high pressure air out of the wheel wells, race car stuff here. Everything you see is functional. Another major style thing on this car is that it's got center locking wheels. So instead of having like a 5-lug pattern, this is like a race car, 1 lug, wheel comes off. Now inside, more race car stuff. Now, as you can see, this car is black with yellow calipers. Inside, we have black, yellow seatbelt and yellow pull handle because in an effort to save weight, they got rid of the door handle. Now you have this nylon pull strap. Because as they say on like Top Gear, with this car, you pay more and you get less, luxury-wise. You get more performance though. These seats are one-piece carbon fiber fixed back racing buckets. As you can see, these seats, they have like spots for harnesses, but that's beside the point. They are very much race seats for the road. Now let's take a look at that massive 4-liter flat 6. Now to get to it, you have a engine lid that does not have shocks. Nothing holds this up. It just has that little pop lock. And under here, this is all you see. 2 big computer fans and something that says GT3RS 4.0. That's it. So that is the look at the thing. And now I gotta see if I can undo this without, there. Now, no slam, but also shut. There. Big wing. This is kind of the main feature of the car. It's the thing that stands out the most, at least. But on the passenger side, the race car theme continues. Of course, you still have the same fixed back seats, but you have a factory fire extinguisher. Not that this car is going to catch on fire necessarily, but how cool is that from the factory, it has a fire extinguisher. Of course, you have no rear seats. It's a race car. It just happens to be street legal. This thing is 100% badass. Okay, trying to get in, and there is unfortunately no graceful way to do this. I am 30 now, but oh boy, yeah, that is how you get in. One negative point, or as Joe Rady would say, one zonk, is that you do actually have to put a key in, but I think it's a little bit more forgivable in this than, say, a Camry. Oh, that sounds really cool. Now, I gotta adjust my seat manually, because that's what you do in a 6-figure car. But, all right, let's hit the road. As you can see, I have to have my life alert thing on just because this car could get loud and I do want to pick up anything Jacob has to say. Before we set off in a car like this, it's important to put it in the right modes. So first of all, you want to make sure the exhaust is on. Before this, the exhaust is somehow just trapped inside of the car, but you want to turn it on. I heard it, the exhaust is now on. Other than that, we definitely want PDK in sport. And Jacob, do we want suspension or no suspension?
No suspension.
Okay, no suspension.
This car is already rough enough.
Like a real race engine though, I will say it is very, very important to actually let this car warm up. I'm already a fan of that, even if I'm driving a Hyundai Sonata, to let it warm up before you get on it. But in a motor that costs as much as this one would to replace, man, those brakes are squeaky. Holy crap, that's carbon ceramics for you. Anyway, with an engine that costs as much as this, it's very, very important to let it warm up. Not to mention, anything at 9,000 RPMs, that's a lot of parts slapping around that need lubrication. So far, that thing was blinking at me that we were going 40. I did not think we were going 40. Very easy car to speed in. But even at this, it feels go-kartish. And we've done nothing.
There is no weight over the front wheels in this car. That's kind of just a 911 thing in general. You know, they just feel like there's no weight over the front end because there's
no weight over the front end. Yeah.
And in fact, it's behind the rear axle, which almost makes the front end even lighter. This car is then even lighter than the 911 with still a really big engine in the back. So it even just exacerbates that feeling.
Need to be warmed up. Wow. Oh. Okay. That is a noise. Obviously, it is also very fast, but this is the first car that I was listening to the Symphony behind me and was more impressed than the actual speed, which was also very fast. And I gotta give it another just like brief. I see why people buy these. Then that's just a roundabout, me darting and then giving it the gas. That is incredible. Roads, but I was expecting this to just be bumpy and uncomfortable. It's not that bad. Considering. I mean, it's still, you feel it. You feel the race readiness. And I don't know if this is my first choice for an 8-hour drive. Of course it is. I'd still drive this in an 8-hour drive. But, you know, it's not Cadillac smooth. But it's also not terribly uncomfortable. Honestly, and I mean this, Vipers are way more uncomfortable on the street. But Vipers are also 1/3 the price. I want to talk about one of my favorite PDK transmission things that these cars can do. Right now we're in 7th, and this is a dual clutch transmission. So if I were to floor it, the kickdown isn't just the next gear and then it wallows up into the next gear. This is a dual clutch, so it can select any gear at once instantaneously. And I love it because it's constantly displaying what gear it's in. So when you floor it, it just flicks to the correct gear and you're just gone. So real quick, I just want to show you what that's like. Right now we are in 7th, and when I click this, are you ready? I am going to go to pass somebody. I mean, it went from 7th to 2nd. Instant. I'm at a loss for words. It just is so freaking fast. It didn't think about it either. It didn't go, what gear should I be in? Whatever, and then fumble around. It went, I mean, in the blink of an eye, 7th to 2nd. And then cracked off a crisp shift. This is why dual clutches are so cool. I know that everybody gets mad that this isn't available with a manual, and in certain circumstances, that would be nice. But even the best manual driver in the world could not have just done that. That was awesome.
Steve Jobs, like before he died, he said, this is what the consumers want in an iPhone. Yeah. This car is the engineers telling you, this is what's going to make the car fastest around a track. They didn't let you select a manual transmission. They just built this car to be as quick as possible, and it shows.
But I do miss cooled seats. Those would sure be nice to have.
Yep.
It is 91 degrees indicated outside, and we're still in the desert, and this is a very, very black car, if you couldn't tell from the exterior. You know, it's one of those things, you pay this much, you kind of want the cooled seats, but at the same time, then you remember, wait, this is a race car, cooled seats are heavy, and then you're like, okay.
Yeah, and you can tell when you listen to the radio in this car, not a lot of depth of sound because they put minimal speakers in it.
So don't buy it.
So don't buy it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No cooled seats, bad sound system, forget about it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It just seems like it should shift sooner than that. It revs for so long. Oh my goodness. I gotta slow her down a little bit. But the reason I want to slow it down is because I really want to do it again. So I'll just do it from a lower speed where I can actually hear the intakes. Yeah. So, yep. That was awesome. Oh! Oh my Those are the fastest shifts I have ever heard in my life. Like, this is every PDK that I've driven turned up. That's why it's in the GT3RS. This car is a concert. And then you look behind you and your rear view mirror view is bisected by a giant wing. It's speed in a totally different way than is developed in the ZR1 or the 488. It's a great combination of cars to own. I'll say that. So I am going to do what I've always wanted to do, is launch control in a GT3RS, and now there is nobody behind us, so let's do it. Oh my God. Okay. That launched like just as hard as an all-wheel drive
also
911. That is amazing. And the best part about this car is that didn't hurt it. The Porsches will do launch control over and over and over again. I don't know if I've ever felt a rear-wheel drive car accelerate that hard. And this car's not even hot. It's hot outside, and the oil temp is still at 200 degrees. The Hellcat would be hot by now. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so that was so cool. Jacob is gonna do it for me right now. Yeah, honestly, that was just a really, really quick 40 sprint. That's all that was. So don't even worry about it. So I'm not gonna show this part in the review, but that was uncomfortably close to me as a bystander. I was looking at the camera and I was like, whoosh, wow, that was close. But yeah, other than that, car fast, car loud. Oh, look, a regular GT3. Ha, I bet he feels bad. Probably not though.
Speaking of over-engineered.
Yeah, this is the cup holder feature is very fancy. So do that and then close it. Look at that. That is a Doug DeMuro level feature right there.
And then put it away. Germans.
I have determined from this brief drive, it handles very well. It does launch control very easily and well, and it is very, very fast. I know these are all original takes. Who would have thought with a GT3RS? Only but downsides are the radio and the cooled seats. Other than that, A+ car. Also of note, we had it in the most aggressive everything setting. Now we have it in, I guess, its softest setting, and it's just chugging along. I mean, this is what you pay for on these cars, is they are over-engineered. They didn't start from scratch. They took the already good 911 and turned it up. They didn't make anything worse. They just made everything sharper. So it's still a good road car. It just happens to be enormously capable performance-wise. And I don't think anybody would call the regular 911 a slouch. So, wow. So there you go, guys. That was the GT3RS, and what a vehicle. You'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who drives one of these and says, oh, that's too expensive for what it is. No, that is exactly how much one of those should cost. This is a precision instrument, and it executes everything it does absolutely perfectly. Thank you, Jacob, for letting us take this thing out for a romp. What a vehicle. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Elliott. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that normal YouTube stuff, and I will see you on the next video. But also, because this reminded me of it, check this out. This is the future right here. Proximity sensitive display. See, it knew that my finger was getting close, and that's.
You just accidentally touched it because we went over.
No, I didn't touch it. It seriously does proximity. I'll wait.
Really?
I'll wait again.
Okay.
I know that it does it. I just forgot that it did. Are you ready? Not touching it. Very smooth. Proximity.
Yeah, you really didn't touch it.
If you want to impress your date, you do this. You go, oh, you would like the radio? Ah, I have made the menu appear. And then you do whatever. That wasn't that cool, but I'm sure somebody would be impressed. All right, we've successfully Corvetted our way over to this restaurant. It's called Postino's, which I believe is Italian for posterior, which is convenient because we're going to be sitting. Is that true?
Sounds right.
Okay, let's go put our posteriors in Postino's.
Yeah.
So, fun fact, this CRV in front of us has chosen to not pay taxes by selecting a Montana plate, but then they paid extra to get a personalized Montana plate. Also, it's just funny that they were choosing to not pay taxes on a car that really wasn't that expensive in the first place.
Maybe they're actually from Montana.
Maybe they are actually from Montana, but I've also had a weekend full of seeing cars with Montana plates that I know have never been to Montana. There's a high chance that CR-V has at least set foot in Montana.
Also, maybe it's someone's mistress and they just did the Montana plates to keep it off the books.
but then made it custom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh well, just one of those things. Also, these seats are surprisingly adequately padded. They look and are very sporty, but the padding that they have, I don't know if they have like a NASA level foam density, but they've packed an more than adequate amount of foam into a very small space. So I don't know if it's because I'm focused on driving, but I mean, as a passenger, I assume that they're not terrible.
Yeah, they're really not bad.
Because other thing, girls just think this is a Porsche with a big wing. Also, your non-car friend neighbors think this is a Porsche with a big wing. In fact, it is a Porsche with a big wing, but it is so much more than that, because it's a Porsche with a big wing that can do this. And then calm right back down.
Yep, and it can do that
all day long.
All day long.
Yeah, it's just, what a car.